Hello again. This is the third installment. I am Gaius Julius Caesar, once again, striking resemblance to the strikingly handsome Mr. Baldini, I know, but I am indeed Gaius Julius Caesar. This segment is going to be more about Rome itself and not so much about me. I want to start off by showing you the weapon of choice. This is a uh, copy of a Roman gladius. It is a short sword. It is a short sword with a point. The we Romans would use this in the battle line. This is a very fancy one. This is very decorative. This is clearly a ceremonial one, not one meant to be, not that it would be used because it has such fine decorations on it. The ordinary average Gladius was a much more simpler device. It did have the point here and the flute for it would call for the blood to for easy to get off the person that you stabbed. And these weapons are great weapons for stabbing. They did not hack with these weapons. They were meant to be used in a battle line. When the Romans would form up, they'd have their shield and they'd have their gladius, and they would use that to stab their opponent and hold the formation together. I'm a conquering general. I should definitely know what that is. Um, the barbarians would use the long sword, hacking a sword. They would hack. It would be a heavy weighted blade. That's the damage it would cause. This was meant to wound and push back on the enemy and stab them, and make it easy to disengage when you wanted to back up. Some other things about Rome, the culture of Rome. We've talked about the sponge on a stick, which I'm not going to go into, but we've also talked about, we haven't talked about the Roman baths. The Roman baths were very much used by different groups of people um, all across society. The aqueducts were used by many different classes. They were kept warm. The baths were kept warm by something called the hypercaust, which I will be going into, or Mr. Baldini will when he gets back from the ancient Roman period. He'll be talking to you about in the future. But I do want to make clear that ancient Roman life was different yet the same than what you're experiencing in the world today. We are still human beings. The people I meet today, the people I've talked to in my times of coming back here through the time tunnel for Mr. Baldini, are similar, if not the exact same, in temperament and behavior that the ancient Romans were. So, when you look back on my people in the ancient world, understand we're still human. We still have the same frailties. In fact, in many ways, we're weaker, and in some areas, we're stronger. We endured a lot. As I've told you before, nearly 50% of children born in ancient Rome were dead before they were 10. So that is an extremely high percentage rate. Uh, so, the lesson to take away from this today, one thing, actually, one little bit of history. I do need to talk to you about my conquest and my defeat of Pompey. I didn't really go into the Civil War. I did fight the Romans, the other Roman armies. I did defeat Pompey. I did beat uh, Labienus. I did beat my friend Labienus. I did defeat them. I had to defeat them in order to save Rome. But it did not make me happy. And remember, I had 5 triumphs. No, no Roman has ever had 5 triumphs. I have had 5 triumphs. It's a heavy weight being Julius Caesar. I am definitely somebody who's been through a lot. I've adjusted the calendar. I've fixed the calendar. It was so out of whack. So many things wrong with it. But I fixed that. I have left a legacy of Rome that will live for generations, for thousands of years. Because Rome was great, and I am Gaius Julius Caesar. That defeated Pompey at the Battle of Pharisees. He escaped to Egypt. As the story goes, when I arrived, they offered me his head. Another indignity. Broke my heart to see Pompey killed that way. He shouldn't kill a consul, former consul that he was. We are Romans, we're not barbarians. Just as Crassus found an untimely end, so did Pompey. These people who are not Romans are just not of the same caliber as we are. We don't bend the knee to some foreign power. We are Romans. We, as the Roman people, are terrible negotiators because we don't believe that we are wrong. Because we're Romans. We're right. And when I found Pompey, his body, his head severed from his body, when I found that repulsive. And I demanded reparations for it. I demanded that somebody pay the ultimate price for that. And Egypt gave me that. He had run off to Egypt in hopes of finding protection, and instead, he was killed. So, the lesson here is Rome is amazingly powerful. I am Gaius Julius Caesar, and now you should be able to write your essay on if I am a reformer or a dictator / tyrant. I know how I would feel. I know how I would write it.